I collected business cards for a while, and my dad would give me, business cards that he got from whatever. And then at one point I was like, why do I have this? I don't know who any of these people are. These are real business cards.
And I can't even put it in the little thing at the donut shop because then they'll call the guy on the business card.
They'll just call the guy.
Me.
They won't call me.
And he gets my donuts.
At that point, we're just giving him free donuts for no... He didn't come in here.
Although maybe that's how you'll get into heaven if you had discarded of them.
Oh, pay it forward.
Hi, everyone. Before we start the show, an awkward announcement. We recorded our introductions in December to this episode, which is When Harry Met Sally, directed by Rob Reiner. And in between recording the intros and recording the second
mere days later,
Rob Reiner passed away. So, of course, our hearts go out to his family and friends, but I just want to offer an explanation of why we might be so cluelessly jovial in the first part of the episode. And
this next part,
hopefully more somber in the second half of the episode.
It's going to be a real downer the second half of this episode, so buckle up. Welcome to Your Inner Child's an Idiot. This is the podcast where we look back on things from our childhood and see if they're any good to begin with. My name's DJ.
And I'm Damon.
Why do I always shrug both audibly
You're just
and
so casual.
physically?
Just, hey, you don't want to come off threatening with your broad shoulders. You just say, hey, guys,
come
don't
on
worry
in.
about it. If you didn't watch the movie, it's fine.
It's fine. We don't care. We're only going to judge you
graded
silently.
Okay. But it will be on the final.
Damon.
Yeah.
I've got a movie for you. We're back.
Okay.
It's romance season. Love is in the air.
Mm-hmm,
We're all just really ready for winter to be over, and we're just ready for love.
Okay. Is the winter part a clue?
No, it's just February. So
okay,
that's all. February. So sorry.
Don't forget that R. What you got for me? You got some hints?
I'll tell you what. It's a movie.
Yep, I got that already.
We have encountered both of these lead actors previously, not together that I think of, but
Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand in The Tragedy of Macbeth by the Coen brothers.
You got
Actually, just Joel Coen.
One of my favorite movies growing up.
You're Benjamin Buttoning. A lot of people don't know that.
That's why I'm so tall. I don't remember how that works. Because he physically got bigger.
He was
first.
old looking, but he was small. And then he got bigger.
But then he got small
and Kate
again.
Blanchett's there?
Did he get small again? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Taraji B. Henson also there.
What else? What else do you need to know to start?
You told me there's at least two actors in the movie and that it's a movie.
Yep.
Do you have a decade, perhaps?
Yeah. Do you want to participate in this, or you just want to start telling you things about the movie?
Yes, that's what hints are. I can't provide myself hints.
It's from the 80s.
Ooh,
I'll tell you that
and
much.
it's a romance.
It is.
One
of the, I would say
dead.
No. It is. I would say it's later than that. It is. I would say precedent setting as a movie.
How old are the characters in the movie? Is this a high school thing or is this an adult thing?
They're adults.
Not an adult thing.
Not in a sexual. Well, I mean, so they're not teens. I don't know how old they are. I don't know if I've ever actually seen this movie all the way through.
Mm-hmm. You don't know if they die in a murder-suicide at the end.
That would be an upsetting way for this to end, but I have no way of knowing. I've seen
an
definitely
80s romance with adults in it. We've already done Moonstruck.
Yep.
So it's not that.
Nope.
Who else falls in love?
One of the lead actresses is one half of a very prominent rom-com couple of actors throughout the
Catherine
ensuing
Hepburn?
decade. Throughout the following decade, but
okay. Wait, so in the 90s, she becomes one half of a prominent, what have you?
Yeah. Who are prominent rom-com couples of the 90s? The main one, think of it.
I'm thinking of Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey, but that's 2000s.
Yeah. Go back a little bit. I'm not arguing that with you.
I'm not arguing that with you. Oh, Meg Ryan wait, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. You're talking about Meg Ryan, though.
Yes.
It's not Top Gun, because we've already done that one.
Yep.
Mrs. Goose. What is she in the 80s? Oh, is this one Harry Met Sally?
It is. Was that fun for you, listener? I don't know if this fun, because you already know what this movie is.
You already know. It says When Harry Met Sally, and the year.
Is it like when, the murderer's behind the door and the guy keeps like, I'll never die. And they're like, I'll just go to the basement to get us some more beers.
I'll never die. An actual line from Final Destination.
When Harry Met Sally, 1989, Billy Crystal.
I love this movie.
I've never seen it all the way through. I've definitely seen that scene when she says, I'll have what she's having.
When she comes in the deli.
She's showing how easy it is
comes
to fake an orgasm. How about that?
I like this movie a lot. Also, you have Joe Kirby. Is it Joe Kirby? And Carrie Fisher as their friends.
Yeah.
Love it when Carrie Fisher pops up in movies that are not Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
This is a charm bomb of a movie. You've never seen it all the way through?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through.
I mean, it is...
I think
it's hard for me to say, like, if it's just like comfort food rom-com stuff, or if it's like setting a precedent of what rom-coms are going to be going forward.
The reason why this movie is the reason why those things became tropes.
Right. The reason why he's like running to a New Year's Eve party, like at the last minute, while it's literally counting down to New Year's, and this is a good movie. And Billy Crystal is, of course, a charm bomb. I had a little bit of a crush on Billy Crystal in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
He's not a super attractive man, but I will say this. He kept it tweet in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Not a bad looking guy in terms of just like his charm can get him over that hump for me. If
you were to draw a perfect circle, I think that is kind of his head shape. That's the main thing It's a very round... Hey,
I have a similar hairline, so watch it. No, I have a very,
Damon?
It just forms an oval.
You're an oval. He's a circle, is what I'm saying. Now look,
so he's an Ernie and I'm Bert? Is that what you're saying? Or maybe I'm a Beaker and he's a Bunsen Honeydew?
No, I feel like Bunsen and Ernie both are like a sideways oval.
Yeah, Ernie and Bert are both football shaped, just different orientations.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them perfect together.
Almost Charlie Brown, full circle. That's really mean because there's not a lot we can do to shape.
Yeah, he didn't create his head shape. He didn't go to a doctor and say, "Give me the Charlie Brown."
Billy Crystal is great. I love Billy Crystal. Did Billy Crystal do anything wrong? Is there anything?
Blackface. And semi-recent blackface. Like he did Sammy Davis Jr. at the Oscars when the last uncanceled Woody Allen movie came out, Midnight in Paris. He did Sammy Davis Jr. at the Oscars. One of my favorite jokes in Kimmy Schmidt was...
2012 Academy Awards?
Yeah, sorry. One of my favorite jokes on Kimmy Schmidt was Zachary Quinto is playing like a big-time like Hollywood agent, and he says, I've been in this business since Billy Crystal was doing blackface at the Oscars, which is to say 5 years ago. I think that's, I don't want to forgive blackface, but yeah, on the scale of cancelable things, like, hey, don't do that.
That's not as like obviously easy for me to say as a white man where someone in blackface doesn't directly make fun of who I am or my race, but I'm also like, it's all like always uncomfortable to put things on a scale, but you're also like,
right.
But
finally you and I have gained the authority to rank the cancelable things. Ladies and gentlemen, number 10.
If I were going to I'd have to rewatch it to get a good guy, and I don't want to.
Wow, now you want to watch blackface. That's interesting.
I'm just saying 4 out of 10.
That was going to be my number 10 was watching blackface. And number 8 was going to be doing blackface.
If we ever run for office, like there's a lot you could find to counsel us on this.
If we're ever going to run for office, I would suggest not doing a podcast for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's called Oppo research, my friend.
Luckily, good luck finding it. Republicans.
My mom can't even find this podcast, and I intend to keep it that way.
Look, I assume we're running as progressives, but also, like, who knows, man? What's it going to be like by the time we run for office?
In the Fifth Reich.
Yeah. Once we're up there, like, can you believe these chains they've got us in? They're so uncomfortable. Bring back the old chains.
They had rounded edges. I liked them. And that's what makes me a liberal.
So other than the times that he performed in blackface, he was always a great host of award shows.
I know he is kind of the pumpkin spice latte of Oscar host, but pumpkin spice latte is pretty good.
You know, every once in a while, it's all right. It's the sort of prevalence that's the problem, right?
But I think he always did an admirable job. And I mean, as a kid, I loved those fucking medleys that he would do after his monologue. I loved when he inserted himself into movies. What a treat. Just do that. Everyone, just do that. Insert yourself into the movies. That's what I want you to do.
I really haven't. There's only been a handful of. Now we're just reviewing the Academy Awards. There's only been a few.
We haven't watched the movie yet.
There's only been a few that I'm like, that was terrible. And most of the time it was like varying degrees of milquetoast, which I would say Billy Crystal is also. He's just on the high end of milquetoast.
I mean, he knows how to deliver a show, I feel like.
It's good. It's fine.
Who doesn't like milk toast? I like milk. I like toast. Why wouldn't I bring them together?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Didn't love the blackface in 2012. But the ensuing 26 years, they trotted him out there. Meg Ryan, Stone Cold Fox, throughout.
Okay, yeah.
Most of her career. And I...
For most of her... Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was
unnecessary.
She
fucked it all up.
That wasn't... I'm sorry about that. Look, I didn't mean to say it.
She's a cutie patootie. She is a cutie patootie.
Makes you want to get nudie.
It makes me want to get nudie, but for other reasons. I wanted to take a schwitz.
You love schwitzing. Well,
all of a sudden, Michael Douglas won me over. Yeah, she's great. I mean, she's a charm bomb in this. I also love her in Joe versus. Have we watched Joe versus the Volcano?
We did. Yeah,
okay.
And I think we watched.
Did we also watch? We watched Sleepless in Seattle as well.
Did we watch You've Got Mail? I can't remember if we watched both of them.
I don't think we watched You've Got Mail yet.
We'll have to search the archives.
I'll have to wait until Republicans do Oppo research on it to let me know if we watched Who's Got Mail.
Who's Got Mail? We've Got Mail.
One of Gene Stapleton's last roles. Who's Got Mail? Not this movie.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Mail? I remember that. Stupid. Thank you for laughing so much at my stupid.
I liked it.
Stupid.
I had just watched a Elizabeth Taylor documentary, and they had a big chunk on Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, a movie I love. And Who's Afraid of Virginia Mail? You can take that to the bank.
That's silly. Can you tell me just real quick before we watch this movie, the premise of the movie? Do I need to know that? I mean, I know I don't need to know it to go into it.
Well, the title in the way is the premise of the movie. I think
just them meeting over and over for 2 hours. Cool.
She has some sort of like a Dory from Finding Nemo disease, in that she is a fish.
It's like 50 First Dates.
They meet. They do not get along at first, and then they reconnect at one point, and they become friends. And then sort of the premise of the movie is like men and women, presumably straight, cannot be friends because there's always this tension. Even if there is no sexual chemistry, there's always this tension of like, could this lead to something? And DJ, sometimes it does. Now, what I like about this movie a lot is that there are also these interstitial vignettes of old couples on a couch talking about how they met.
Oh, so like this where Interstellar
this is another Rob Reiner joint, and by which I mean I mean a Rob Reiner joint.
Okay.
We definitely didn't record an intro to another Rob Reiner joint that comes out in the next episode. But I think this is written by Nora Ephron. Am I correct?
Is it? I don't know. Yeah, Rob Reiner and Nora Ephron are credited for the screenplay. Also, 1 hour, 36 minutes. Love a short-ass movie.
Love
Keep it
it. But these interstitials with presumably real couples, I've never actually looked up if they're real. They seem very real.
Yeah.
It's fucking adorable. I love old people who are in love. The one I remember there's two I remember. One where they were married, they got a divorce, and then they got remarried and they're still together. And then there's another where this guy, he lived on the second floor of a building, and the woman he was interested in lived on the 36th floor of the building, and he rode the elevator all the way up so he could keep talking to her.
Okay, that's pretty charming.
Hot eyes. Even recounting barely a coherent version of their story, I got hot eyes at myself.
These are, according to Wikipedia, true stories gathered by Nora Ephron and reenacted by actors.
Okay.
Reenactored, as I like to say. We're going to watch
another hit, Reenactored. Who's Afraid of Virginia Mail and Reenactored.
You know, when you say
That's
it back to me...
That's what my comedy is. I like comedy you don't have to think about.
I don't like it when you say it back to me. It's like someone reading my song lyrics out. It's not supposed to be delivered that way. You're doing it all wrong. Knock, knock, who's there? Panther, panther, no panther, I'm going swimming. That's not funny when you say it that way.
If you breeze through it, you gotta get the timing. All right, we're gonna go watch this?
Yeah, we're gonna watch When Harry Met Sally, 1989. Watch along with us. Damon, okay, can you do me just a quick faves?
Yeah,
can you
always
just make a pleasurable sound like you're listening to a podcast?
Oh, yes.
Just like you would when you're just...
So I'm listening to someone make a salient point about contemporary politics. And I usually go...
Okay. Listen.
Was that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
That made you comfortable?
Listen, I know what you're all thinking. I'll have what he's having. Well, you can, and that is a pleasurable podcast experience by joining our Patreon page, patreon.com/yourinachild'sanidiot, and we will give your ears orgasms. Is that what we're promising? Does that?
I think I can guarantee at least one oral eargasm per show.
And as much as I can ever guarantee an orgasm, I can for this. What I'm saying is, and I'm inadequate as a podcast host as I am as a lover. Come on over, patreon.com/yourinachild'sanidiot.
You're going to love it. Please give us money.
And we are back. We watched ... Is it at the beginning? Or
I thought it was ... at the end. Let's check with the Library of Congress.
Well, according to Googs, it's at the end. But it's at the end. I'm so sorry.
Service.
When Harry Met Sally ... 1989. Well, we mentioned in our little insert at the beginning that we did not know during the intro that Rob Reiner was going to be heinously murdered. So this is fresh as of recording. This just happened.
It literally happened while you were watching the movie.
We were texting. Correct? We haven't really unpacked. I think let's go ahead and get into it. We haven't really unpacked.
Please.
This because we were just texting. It feels like. Listen, this is more a commentary on the state of media, but why did I find out I have a Google alert for Rob Reiner? I found out before they knew what happened. They're two people the exact ages of this elderly couple or of this older couple were found dead, and then I'm okay, well that's probably them. And then we find out these more things. I'm you just figure out what's going on and then report it, and then I'll react to it.
What you're saying is you wish they would gather the information, put it in some sort of publication, and maybe, I don't know, just to save you a step, throw it on your driveway in the morning? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying I'm not on his emergency contact list. I don't need to know immediately.
Were you getting news alerts? Like notifications on your phone?
Listen, I was just like a red-blooded American. I was just looking at my phone while I was also watching TV. And it came up. I don't even know what I was looking at. And I was just oh, Jesus. I'm watching this movie and also finding out this information while I'm watching this movie. that is relevant to this movie.
That is.
And now it's about me, which is, I do like that part of it.
Yeah, of course.
That it's about my experience.
How has this affected you? I'm reminded David Bautista's character in Glass Onion has a Google alert set for movies, and someone calls him out on it, and he's like, I like movies. That's what he says. Nice. And now I imagine you have a Google alert for movies.
Movies, yeah. Okay, listen. There's these two young, very young. Billy Crystal has never looked younger than 40, but this is as close as they got. Harry and Sally meet when they're students at University of Chicago. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. In 1977.
Yeah. And they're Sally is friends with the person that Harry is dating, and so they get paired together because they're both moving to New York at the end of college, and they ride together. They have this very long cross country car trip together. They there's a little spark there, but it's not immediately romantic, or is it, Damon? I think
I can't speak to that because by podcast law, I cannot speak during the summary.
Okay. I just have two questions of this immediately, and just to go ahead and put this in the recap, and that is, will they? Won't they? Okay.
When they?
I'm
thinking of the Watergate tapes at this point.
Yes. Who knew Sally? When did they know Sally?
When did they meet Sally?
And you, sir, are no Sally. Okay, so sorry, that's different. Okay, so stupid.
I have in my hand a list of 10,000 Harrys and Sallys in the State Department.
We just also got a year-end recap of our of clips from Riverside, and it was like, this is your favorite word, and it was like, it's okay, Riverside.
Rude to us.
Listeners, I know we don't have the greatest, etiquette. We're not radio hosts, but you don't even know how many are getting edited out. Thank you, Rob. Okay, so they part ways.
We've gotten to the first 4 minutes of the movie.
Leave me alone. They part ways, but lo and behold, they run across each other again and again across time.
Not like in a sci-fi way.
It's kind of a little sci-fi.
But not like they're in the threads of time.
It's not time travel. We're just going forward in time. And so
standard time travel, actually.
Eventually, I think the third or fourth time we catch up with Harry and Sally, they form more of a stronger friendship. They actually start to hang out together, and it seems like they're lovers and all but the fucking
penetration.
And all but penetration, they're lovers. But
total rhinos.
These lovers are star-crossed. There's always some reason that they don't get other. It's really only their own neuroses that keep them apart. It's not really any real factors. Sometimes they're dating people, but one of the reasons they form this bond is that they've just both recently broken up. Harry's gotten divorced, and Sally's broken up with her long-term boyfriend, and they start to kind of commiserate over that. She's sort of not letting herself feel anything. He's feeling way too much all the time. And eventually, I'll tell you, these two, eventually.
Yeah. What's that?
With much cajoling. Is cajoling the right word? Kvetching?
Maybe kvetching. Cajoling means you're like trying to get someone to do something, which is maybe not the look you want in a sexual
I guess I was thinking of their friends. Cajoling them, but they don't cajole that much. They want to be together, and eventually they do. And boy, I blew the second half of this recap. It wasn't even going well in the first half.
No. Well, so they have sex after an emotional thing from.
That's what you took away from this movie, is they had sex.
Well, I mean, and then
thanks for recapping.
Then it gets awkward. Then it gets awkward after now that they're friends that have had sex, and Harry screws it up, and then you know what? Harry unscrews it by running to her. Right. You might even say, if you were next to him while he was window shopping, what would you have said to Billy Crystal as he's thinking about this woman that he might love? What would you say to him?
Go to her.
Why does it get more and more Tom Waitsy as it goes?
God's away on business, so go to her. It was originally Tom Waits that was cast in that role, the go to her role, but then they just cut it entirely.
Just cut it for time. They were like, actually, I think it's completely understandable what Billy Crystal's doing.
I think we don't need to say anything.
It's New Year's. It's a New Year's party. They're counting to 10. Do you want to get any of this, or do you just want to go straight to the conversation?
I'm giving you gold. No, we'll just go to the conversation. Okay.
We all know what happened. They met, like the title said.
They met. Do I need to recap, or is that all right? Did we
no.
get there eventually? Okay.
Don't hurt yourself. It's fine.
Our listeners are like, what? Okay, so I guess
it is. I'm trying to, I forget everything that happens on this podcast. It is some sort of like vortex in my brain just deletes it entirely. Like my brain knows it's being recorded and it's like, well, I don't need to keep that crap. And then, friends will come up to me and like, I really disagree with you about, Jurassic Park Rebirth or whatever. And I'll be like, I have no memory of it.
I have no memory of this place.
So I just want to say, that might be a nominee for the worst recap we've ever done. I also might say it's definitely the worst recap of 2026.
Okay. Well, let's do it.
In a charming way.
I'll do a quick recap.
It's the wagon wheel table of this episode.
Harry meets Sally. They become friends. And eventually they become lovers. How's that? Is that better?
Well, I mean, I feel like you're missing the part where they were friends and then they had sex and that ruined the friendship and then they're, hate each other again. Yeah. And then they become lovers and they get married. Yay. They got married.
They become one of the couples on the videotape telling us about how they met. Harry's premise when they first meet is that men and women can't be friends. Generally speaking, at all, but he's kind of saying because, or if they're attracted to each other, is kind of more what he's saying. He's saying,
well, she even says, so you're saying that men can be friends with women they don't find, that he doesn't find attractive. He's like, no, they pretty much want to nail them too.
He's like, no, that doesn't work either. So his premise
how do you, as a heterosexual man, this doesn't apply to me, I think, in Harry's homophobic worldview, or heteronormative, I should say. How do you feel about this as a Kinsey scale 5.75?
I mean, it's utter nonsense, but are you trying to sleep with me right now? We're friends.
Yeah, look at this pose I'm pulling. Look at this. This is how I get guys doing the Joanna Kearns in the theme song to Growing Pains pose.
Listen, and I hope that you don't take this as an insult, but it's doing nothing for me right now. So,
not even my funfetti sweater.
That is nice. I will say that
it's got flecks of navy, and then I match that to the navy in my shirt.
You know what I like?
Anything?
Is that you put
anything? 5.5 maybe now? Drop down to 5.5?
5.65. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
But only because you have a sweater, but underneath it, you have a collared shirt, which is...
That way there's more layers. You still have an out at any point. There's so many layers to remove from me that at any point you can be like, you know what? This is actually not going to happen.
I've got a lot of escape hatches. Oof. We are
an A shirt underneath. I gotta go.
We are a minute into this, and I am. No, it's utter nonsense. I feel like that's the idea that Harry, as a recent college grad, would say that is very believable.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
The idea that an elder Harry would still kind of believe that, I believe.
But he tries to poo-poo it when he's older. He's like, I would never say that. But yeah. I do think it's true a little bit. And then he adds like a bunch of qualifiers to it in a later scene.
I actually love that both of them don't remember exactly what they said. They remember certain things. Some of them are kind of slightly misremembered, which I like that too. I think that's a good touch because you don't remember things. You're not right. You didn't just watch.
He doesn't remember saying that, and she doesn't remember saying that she would prefer Victor Laszlo in Casablanca over Humphrey Bogart. She's like, I would never say that.
Definitely say.
I saw it.
That was pretty good.
I was there in 1977. I was in that car with you two.
Weirdly, I was right there. I was in the cigarette lighter, I guess. No, that's nonsense. I do think I know people who believe that. I have lots of women friends. I think that's ridiculous. Also, it's kind of this binary thing that we've sort of, I mean, not all of us, but many of us have matured past, hopefully. And I do think it's fun for a romantic comedy. Unfortunately,
it feels also like a dated thing that I think a lot more guys would feel that way in the 70s and 80s. Not that I was a cognizant person then, but it feels very, men do this stuff and women do that stuff. And, the only reason a man would hang out with a woman is, to date her.
And it's like, still like Seinfeldian, right? Like they kind of have that premise, but then one of his best friends is Elaine, but then also they like used to date and also sleep together again, even though it doesn't go well. Spoiler for Seinfeld, everyone. But it's not like they continue
for the second season finale of Seinfeld.
But also you could argue that that's kind of Harry's point, is that there's always going to be something there.
Right. And I think he's not saying that they can't, they're not like, both north ends of a magnet. It's just that there is always this undercurrent of sex from, he's saying from the man's point of view, where he's always thinking about sex and wants to have sex with everything, which I think if he's 22 years old, that's possibly true.
Yeah.
22-year-old worldview.
Yeah.
Speaking, Seinfeldian, I kept thinking of Seinfeld throughout this entire movie. It has a very proto-Seinfeld feel to it in that it's all about relationships, all about dating, and all about,
neurosis.
Also just pithy dialogue, just back and forth, just, observational things. Things that would later become tropes, like saying that a woman has a great personality is code for she's not very attractive.
Well, it's funny that's apparently a lot of this was based on not necessarily a dynamic between each other, but Billy Crystal's character based on Rob Reiner himself, and then Sally was apparently based a lot on Nora Ephron, who wrote this. Like and they kind of brought a lot of that to the table. Like Rob Reiner described sort of an constant. He said it in a funnier way because he was Rob Reiner, but it was like a constant undercurrent of depression. It was just like a thin layer, like over everything, and so that colored his whole worldview. And I feel like that's very. I don't know if there's depression in the sort of Seinfeld of it all, but it's like a
self-loathing.
Cynicism. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Self-loathing is in there too. It's just like, but it's sort of outwardly. He's prickly,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Harry is very prickly, and it's funny, it's charming, but it's also you could see where people would be like, all right, that's enough of all this.
I did, especially because I relate more to Harry. I loved his evolution over the course of the movie because he starts out as sort of like a brash know-it-all who does who does think he's kind of edgy and dark and brooding because he's always thinking about death, which feels very 22 years old.
Yeah.
And then as he, grows up into his 30s, and I don't know how old he's, but I guess into his 30s, at the end of the movie, his character is still there. He does feel like a matured version of that character. He's still always flipping to the back of a book to see how it ends before he starts a book. And especially once he gets his divorce, it feels like it coalesces, like it cauterizes into this like really depressive episode, which I think Billy Crystal does a great job of selling.
He does. It's actually sad. He's actually sad, as opposed to just sort of taking. I don't think he was ever faking it necessarily or putting on airs, but it's more like
he's just like a negative person. I think.
Yeah. He's a negative Nelly, and then he becomes a depressed.
Or as negative people
Daniel.
always say, he's a realist.
Right. Yes, and that's how he would have described it as well. I'm sure as a character. The music, I just want to touch on real quick. It Had to Be You is like the big thematic song comes back in again. But also there's a lot of Harry Connick Jr. did a lot of I
was surprised when that came up in the credits. I was like, wait, how old is Harry Connick at this point?
Yeah.
19?
He must have been
Nepo baby though, because Harry Connick Sr.
Well, Harry Connick Sr. was only a line producer. No, I don't know what Harry Connick Sr. did, but
I just got my foot in the door, which is notoriously the most easy thing.
The hardest thing to do is have a parent who's in the industry. So do that. Step one.
Start there. If I could recommend anything, start there. You want to talk about Meg Ryan and how adorable and charming she is and how winning she is?
I want to for the rest of my life. She's adorable. If I had to pick an 80s, I guess 90s too, but let's say 85 to the cultural decade, 85 to 95 babe.
Thank you.
She'd be my 85 to 95 babe.
I tried to explain cultural decades at my holiday party this year, and someone kept cutting me off, and my brain was like, Damon, it's probably for the best.
Like, not on purpose, but just like talking about something else.
They just kept talking, and something kept happening. I'm like, cultural decades tend to happen on the 5s. Anyone? You need another drink? I just wanted to say cultural decades tend to happen on the 5s. Okay. He's okay. He just stumbled a bit. Anyway, cultural, you know what? Never mind.
It happens all the time where I have a train of thought and it gets interrupted for whatever reason. And then you try to find a window again. And then when you do, in that intervening time, you also think, was this worth saying? I would have just fired it off, whatever anecdote or whatever thing, like of the cultural decade thing. You're like, I don't think this is important. It's just a thing I wanted to say. And I don't want to forget the thing. So now it's like rattling around in my head. And then by the time you get your chance, you're like, that was so long ago. That was so many threads ago. Anyway.
Or sometimes you just try and force it in anyway and just bring the entire conversation to a standstill. And then you just sort of want to fill your pockets with rocks and walk into the sea.
You know what's crazy about yogurt? It's made from cultural. So cultural decades. Oops. And then you mess up the way you're speaking and it kind of derails the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
You had a
So Meg Ryan.
She is adorable. Okay. Let me be shallow for a moment, please. Not
by
gross, but shallow.
That's what I've wanted this podcast to be this whole time.
Well, she's adorable. She's just adorable all across the board. But if she was like Barbies had their themes, if you could do Sally in this movie, what would be your favorite Sally outfit or like hairdo?
Ooh. There is one moment where she's really serving some Diane Keaton, Annie Hall. She has a big gray hat and she has these sort of flouncy pants that taper down at the bottom. Really cute look.
They're on the same page.
I'm trying to I also love her glasses she puts on occasionally whenever she's reading the menu. She has these really cute, they're gold, but then they have like this turquoise or aquamarine little like embellishment, like where the arm meets the lens. It's also really cute. She is amazingly dressed in this movie. And I really feel like Annie Hall is like a real starting point for her character. Yeah. She also has this really chunky cable knit sweater that she wears. Mm-hmm. She just looks, it is helpful that fashion has like rounded the corner and is like,
I was going to say that.
What if we all wore our pants up to our tits and all wore big flouncy hips and then tiny little ankles? I'm like, thanks fashion. She looks great.
When she's speaking to Carrie Fisher's character in the bookstore, when they see Harry,
is that the red sweater?
The third time.
Of? Yeah,
I don't remember what she's wearing, but I do remember that
personal growth.
Yes, but their hairdo, both of their hairstyles and what they're wearing, I'm like, this could be now. Mm-hmm. If this were like more HD, like not even that actually, because I watched it on
just superimpose of some vapes in their hands.
Yeah, exactly. If you just say, if one of them just said bet or something, then. But yeah, Museum Meg Ryan is my favorite, and I think New Year's Eve Meg Ryan is my second favorite. The outfits are on point. She's very cute, and obviously, just as a character, very well done. Her you can see why Harry is charmed by her, and also why she might be annoying if you were not charmed by her, because she's like very particular about how she orders things, and apparently that was based on Nora Ephron's she's like, I like what I like. And then they use that for Sally's line too. And I'm like, that's great. Also, good for you. Get your salad how you want it. Also,
I hate that.
Sometimes they over sauce it. So that
but if you go in deconstructing it, you don't even know if it's a good restaurant or not because you completely destroy the dish.
I do think you got to give them a chance, but also that's high risk. If you know you don't like dressing.
I hate those places. Like there's a deli that sometimes my office will order from, and all their things are just like, you choose everything. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I fucked it up or you fucked it up. Are you a bad restaurant or I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing?
I'm the one that put chickpeas and beets together. Is that on me?
Why did I do that? They all rolled out of the sandwich. Why didn't you slice the beets?
I think this was a sandwich in your idea. I was very much going for a salad, but you went for a chickpea beet sandwich. That's
my problem with Kava. You and I have already discussed this at a Kava, but that's also my problem with Kava. It's one thing to have Chipotle do a burrito where you know what's in a burrito, But
well, you do, because
at Kava, they're like, they have all these specialty dishes. And the first time I went to Kava, I made it up as I went along. And I was like, this didn't work. So then the next time I'm like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at the wall where they have this sort of museum of dishes that they like. And I'm like, I'm going to tell the teenager, yes, I will have the, Octavius salad. And he's like, okay. And then he like got a bowl out and just stared at me. And I was like, what? There's no, I'm still just guessing what the Octavius salad. He's like, he put arugula in. And I'm like, oh my God, this place sucks.
That's supposed to be a guide.
And then they put hummus in the salad? What? Why is there a big hunk of hummus in here? It's a big thick paste that's just like a big globule of hummus in my salad. All the arugula is like stuck to it like a lint ball. It's terrible. Kava, stop serving me slop. I'm done with slop. You know what? I'm done with slop. No more bowls. I want everything to be in a presentable package. I'm not a horse. Anyway, Meg Ryan's adorable in this. Yes, I think they do an amazing job of like making her feel very persnickety about things, but the falafels are all right. I just don't like the presentation of them.
I love my kava bowls the way I order them, but I did figure it out. And I also began, just to continue talking about kava for some reason, I got like one of the bowls and then I just sort of customized it, but I also was not there in person. I just ordered it online. And so they didn't have the chance to just be like, so do you want
just
rice? It was like, just do the thing that's written, for you. They're like, they gave you a chord chart.
You want lemon pepper sauce on it? I'm like, does it come on the Octavian salad?
So Sally Albright, please.
She's a charm bomb. I like that she's neurotic. I really like her development of pretending that Joe breaking up with her was fine. It's a really believable development, and the fact that is like her explosion when she and Harry finally sleep together also feels like true when she finds out that he is marrying someone and it's just someone he's known for a short bit. But Meg Ryan also is just super charming. It feels like when she's laughing at Harry, she's genuinely laughing. Waiter, there's too much pepper on my paprikash, made me laugh. It's a very charming thing. It does seem like something I would have done when I was younger, of like, I'm going to talk like this all day.
Yeah.
Annoyance be damned. Yeah, she's got a great chemistry with Billy Crystal, which I think is like 100% what romantic comedies, work with, or if they don't, it's a shit show.
It does feel really, really real. Like there was no reason that he's talking like that. You know what I mean? It was just like, and he's not doing a stand-up bit either. He's just being silly, and she thinks it's funny. And that's, you're like, I see why these two hang out together. They're like,
pepper. There is too much pepper on my paprikash. But I would like a piece of pecan pie.
I think what got me is the way she said the first time. I mean, she's charming throughout this, but
she is so bad at it.
Before that, she is talking about, I can't remember what the exact story is, but she stopped amusing yourself with your Meg Ryan doing Billy Crystal impersonation.
Well, we paused it because we went to get our bowls for dinner, and we had it paused, and she was like, she's trying to do pepper, and she's so bad at it.
But there's a moment where she's talking about why a guy broke up with her, and it's because she didn't have Sunday. She had all the days of the week underpants, and she didn't have Sunday, and she's like, they don't have Sunday, and she's like, they don't sell it, and he's like, because of God. The way her face when she says that, I know she's like, she's not even joking, she's just saying a thing, but it's just very good.
Also in that same scene, because that's the road trip, the initial scene where they meet, she's also calculating the tip, and she's got like a piece of scrap paper that she's working out the tip on, and he's just watching her get the tip to the exact penny. Charming. Watching her in one of like the montage scenes where she's trying to put her mail, and she looks at each thing that she's mailing. And at first he's annoyed, but he's like being patient. He's just standing there, and it goes on for so long. She's putting the mail in the box, and then she opens the door to make sure it went in. And then she puts the next piece of mail in the mailbox, and then. But she's also like checking each one, double check that it has postage. I assume that's what she's not talking at this time, but
And then he just grabs the whole thing and throws it in there. And then she opens it up and looks at it. Seedful grapes he's got. Made me think, man, the 70s were fucked up.
What a
man.
time.
So many ways. Couldn't get seedless grapes. You just couldn't get them. So
well, now RFK is saying we can only have seedful grapes. They're all
Is that true?
Seeds, and there's just a bag of skin around them. No, of course not. They wouldn't want something that's actually like inconvenient that you'd notice, that you'd be like, oh, actually, maybe the seedless type wasn't so bad. No, it's just stupid things that'll kill a bunch of kids.
It's fine.
Sorry about that. I did that thing again where I do the thing.
His example of him being funny, but also being a dick, where he's like, he sees her for the second time, or is it the second or third time, where he's like, oh, yeah, you were going to be a gymnast. She's like, a journalist. And he's like, that's what I said. Like, obviously he knows it was a journalist. Like, you don't come up with gymnast if you don't know. Like, it's a bit, but also he's just being a dick. Pretty funny. You look like a normal person, but really you're the angel of death. I really like that.
That got Tyler to laugh.
That was good.
And this is actually something I've said before and not realized I stole it full cloth from When Harry Met Sally, which is I never wanted someone to say to me, how come you don't take me to the airport no more? That's why I never want to do things for people.
I do like when people every once in a while ask me that now, like, would you be able to take me to the airport? I'm like, we're past this.
We as a society have figured out a trick.
Just call a car. Just stop this.
They can be at your door in 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
It's going to be so much more convenient. Edward is here. Also, in this, I guess this would probably be the 80s by this point. You just had to carry around a Rolodex if you wanted to try to connect your friends together. Carrie Fisher pulls out a Rolodex. And
I had a Rolodex as a child, which I loved. It was a circular Rolodex, and I loved flipping it and hearing the cards and then pulling out the cards and looking at them. Now, I had no numbers to keep track of, but I loved the idea of a Rolodex, and I couldn't wait for one day to fill it. And now I got a fucking Rolodex, and it's right here. Fuck you.
Right here. I had business
make
cards.
A sound.
I collected business cards for a while, and my dad would give me, business cards that they got from whatever. And then I was like, at one point, I was like, why do I have this? I don't know who any of these people are. These are real business cards.
And I can't even put it in the little thing at the donut shop because then they'll call the guy on the business card.
They'll just call the guy. Me. They won't call me.
And he gets my donuts.
At that point, we're just giving him free donuts for no... He didn't come in here.
Although maybe that's how you'll get into heaven if you had discarded them.
Pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what if that was the proper way? It was like paint cans or batteries where you cannot throw away business cards. You have to dispose of them in donut shops in the raffle for a free dozen donuts.
I think you just found a way to just brighten some lives.
Wow.
Carrie Fisher's character, Marie, is so like her best friend, Sally's best friend. And she is also interesting. Like, obviously not as much time with her. She doesn't get as much development, but also has an interesting arc. She is kind of pathetic. Like she's dating this guy who's married and keeps trying to keeps convincing herself that he's going to leave his wife.
Right. And she keeps every time we catch up with her, she's found a new piece of evidence that he's never going to leave his wife.
Right.
But every years go by and she's still dating this guy, Arthur.
And then every time her friends say something like, telling her the truth, she's always like, of course you're right. Like she knows the truth, but she sticks with it. And then at some point, Harry and Sally obviously are attracted to each other, but are trying to pretend like they're not for no particular reason. And they hook their friends up together. They're trying to...
Well, accidentally, they're trying to... Yeah.
They're trying to hook Harry up with Marie and Jess up with Sally, which is Bruno Kirby's character, which is Harry's... They don't seem that close, but they're best friends, I guess. And it goes horribly, but...
They seem like best friends. Why don't they seem like best friends? They go to the batting cages together. They go to Mets games together.
No, you're right. I think I would just it wasn't as charming of a relationship as Carrie Fisher and Meg Ryan, so it just didn't stick with me as much. They just seemed like, I think Harry is just sort of more cantankerous, so their whole relationship is a lot more,
right.
It's not as chummy. It's a lot more fighty. But they hit it off, and then they end up getting married, and then they're having a marital spat, and then Harry has just run into his ex.
Oh, right. When they're moving in together, Harry and Sally are shopping for like a housewarming gift for the two of them, and runs into his ex. What's her name? Harriet? That's not right.
It is
Herman.
Helen?
Helen is correct.
Helen?
Yeah.
I have to buy your.
She was also in the movie Parenthood, directed by Ron Howard.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. She's married to Rick Moranis in that.
Wow.
Isn't this great information?
Yeah, this is good. It's
he runs into Helen, and while they're back at Marie and Jess's house, where they're arguing about a wagon wheel table that Jess has brought into the relationship, Harry explodes at everyone and just says, "Look, one day you're going to be arguing about this stupid, ugly wagon wheel table, and you're going to spend thousands of dollars in phone calls arguing about this piece of shit table." And Bruno Kirby's like, "You said you liked it." He says, "I was being nice." I think that one of the interesting things is, because of the time jumps at the beginning, there are title cards to tell us how much time has passed. But once they actually become friends, I feel like this movie does a really good job of tracking time really well. In that, especially with Bruno Kirby and Bruno Kirby and Carrie Fisher's relationship as sort of like this other timeline going on, where they're getting together, they meet, then they move in, and their wedding is sort of like right after Sally and Harry sleep together. It's a really great parallel to Harry and Sally's relationship, and is a good time marker of how much time has passed.
Yeah, because we're not doing the jumps anymore. We're kind of sort of like slow down in this area and zoom in on their relationship, and it's a cool way to introduce their dynamic of like meeting over the years, and then they did what you should do, which is they're like, we don't really need this anymore. We don't need to like jump around as much. We can sort of have time pass like as it serves the story, where we're like, okay, well, we need to fast forward to when they sleep together or whatever. It's not like. And it's not jarring in any way. You're not like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That it's been, because you get to see these montages of them spending time together, and that's like, oh, okay, they've developed a very close friendship, and that's all you need to know.
I was reminded now, because you're talking about the montages, there's this montage scene, I think in the same montage as the mailbox scene, but where they're at a Chinese restaurant, and you're just sort of watching them through the window. And Harry's just sort of glaring at Sally, and she's talking to the waiter, who has this like really confused look on his face, and she's like doing like grandiose hand motions about something while she's ordering, and all these ducks are hanging behind the waiter. It just made me laugh, DJ.
Well, because then at the end of that, the server looks at Harry and he just sort of shrugs or shakes his head. He's like, I don't know. It's pretty good. Can we talk about the couples? Throughout this film, as we mentioned in the intro, there are couples being interviewed about the first time they met. And do you have a favorite one? I have a favorite one.
I think I mentioned this in the intro, but the cup where the guy says, "I wrote up 9 flaws to keep talking to her." What I also like about the first part that I forgot is that they're constantly talking over each other, which is really cute. Neither is bothered by the fact that they're talking over each other, and they're sort of like talking in parallel, telling the same story. She's sort of like fitting in details about her life as he's. It's very charming. I love that they're all old couples. I love old love. It's really. I feel like it really sets this movie apart. I don't know how much of a trite idea it would have been at the time. Or if this was setting a template for rom-coms throughout the 80s and 90s and 2000s. But the interstitial like conversations with old people about their love story is just so charming. And I feel like it sort of elevates everything. You said they were actors reenacting interviews they actually did. The actors, though, are really great. They feel very natural. And then I said to her, what did I say? It's very cute. It's great. I also like the couple that got a divorce, and then he married like 3 more women.
Yeah.
And then
he doesn't remember their names, and she
three.
does.
Yes, Roberta.
Roberta.
And then they get married again, and they're married for 35 years. Charming.
Like the lady that also is like, at that moment I knew the way you know about a good melon. If you're not at least slightly charmed by that, I don't know what to tell you. You might not love, and that's okay. There's kind of a few directorial RIP flourishes in this too. I think overall this is just directed very, very well. But like the one I think that is a kind of become a famous scene besides the obvious her having an orgasm in the deli. But there's also the scene where their friends Jess and Marie are in bed together. They've Harry and Sally have just slept together, and they both separately call their best friends. And they have, why do they have separate lines? I don't know, but that doesn't matter, because what happens is they have like a split screen, but not split screen. Like Harry and Sally are split screen, but the couple is together in bed together, like talking to their
having
friends.
Different conversations.
Yeah, but they're both obviously.
I saw a clip of Rob Reiner talking about that.
Yeah.
Specific scene, and it was a nightmare because you have these pre-filmed segments, 2 separate pre-filmed segments, and then you have Bruno Kirby and Carrie Fisher having a conversation with 2 separate people together, and you have to sort of sync up everyone's lines.
Acting is
sounds like it was kind of a nightmare. It's not they have several instances of Harry and Sally watch Casablanca a few times in this, and they call each other and watch it together on the phone, which feels like a very landline thing to do.
Yeah.
I remember watching TV with my friends on the phone, much to my parents' chagrin. It's just it's another charming element of this film. It's a nice little flourish. I like it. It.
I've always said that actors are they're the doctors of our day. Just with how hard they work to do these things.
Yeah. While it's all being catered, just like doctors. So
doctors, they have vending machines.
Yeah, it's the same.
Do you want to talk about the orgasm scene? The most famous scene from this movie?
I mean, what's to be said that hasn't already been said?
It's very funny. I think it's a famous scene for a reason. It's also pretty out of character for Sally. She's not like
to call attention to herself in such a
she does a couple times. I feel like
way.
Harry sort of drives her nuts in both the good ways and the bad ways, and so like because at one point when they're in a different diner, she like yells, or it was when they first meet and they stop for it's like a precursor to that, because she's like, I've had good sex, like the moment she walks in and everybody's like
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's her loosening up and becoming closer friends with him, and like he's rubbing off on her a little bit.
Yeah,
but also, he's a man, and he's just like, I always bring a woman to orgasm, and there's no question about it. And she's like, oh yeah, watch this. And then Rob Reiner's mother, she wants the orgasm sandwich. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Listen, old ladies can orgasm too.
They sure can.
Yeah.
I want to say, I have another line. I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about Helen, the ex-wife who comes in. And when she walks away, Billy Crystal's like, she looked weird. She looked weird, didn't she? She looked weird. And Sally goes, I've never seen her before. But she says it just so like trying to be helpful, but also like, I don't know what this woman looks like, so I don't know if she looks weird or not.
When later Harry's talking about his girlfriend, basically she's not quite on his... or at least he doesn't feel she's on his intellectual level, and he's not insulting her, but he's kind of complaining a little bit to his friends. And at some point he's like, something about when Kennedy was shot, and she said, Ted Kennedy was shot. It's like,
that actually it follows my Sally Field nominee scene.
Okay,
which is the Pictionary or win, lose, or draw scene.
I would second that. I
almost made me pee my pants watching, even though I've watched it so many times.
Yes.
Bruno Kirby I would not want to be on his team. I would specifically ask to not be on his team if I were in that group. But I mean, she is also a terrible artist. I want to say, because Tyler will get mad if I don't say it, he did guess during the round that she was trying to draw baby talk.
He said it?
Yeah, he said, baby talk? While Bruno Kirby kept screaming, baby fish mouth, baby fish mouth, baby fish mouth. And then she's like, it's baby talk.
Oh, Tyler got it right?
Tyler guessed it with everyone else.
Okay, gotcha.
And then
I thought you meant Bruno Kirby's character. I was like, wow, that redraws the whole thing.
No, that shatters what you know about When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Is that Bruno Kirby actually guessed the right answer.
If I were writing an article for BuzzFeed in 2007, I'd write...
What you didn't catch in 1989 When Harry Met Sally.
It's going to shatter your world.
Baby talk. God,
which actually could be an article because it wasn't true. And half of those things were not true.
But baby fish mouth makes me laugh really hard.
He keeps saying
because then Bruno Kirby says, baby talk, that's not a phrase. And Billy Crystal says, yeah, but baby fish mouth is sweeping the nation. And then, although I also like Bruno Kirby screaming at Meg Ryan, draw something that resembles something.
Do something. She just keeps drawing.
She just keeps drawing the lips and then drawing arrows coming out of the lips.
Yes.
Love it. Sally Field Award for me.
I will second that. That is, of course, our Sally Field Memorial Single Scene Award. Do you have a nominee for our...
I kind of just wanted to give it to Meg Ryan. Is that wrong?
I mean, I'll give anything to Meg Ryan. Whatever you want, Meg.
Mm-hmm.
That's our Catherine O'Hara Memorial MVP Award. Neither of these actresses
decided to start on a fresh year of the podcast.
Yes. What?
Meg Ryan. Well, because you listed what they were. And it's like, yeah, we know.
Well, I always try to describe them, and you just barrel over me every time. Be like, they know our lore.
They know what it is. The lore is well established.
Our obscure award system. I have to point out a moment that Lauren pointed out that I did not catch in the film that tickled both of us. Well, once you retold it, it tickled me, which is that during the Rolodex scene, when Marie brings out her Rolodex, she's trying to find people for Sally to date. She lists somebody, and I can't remember his name, and they're like, he's married. He's been married for whatever. And she just folds the corner over to indicate that he's married.
She goes, married. And then I thought that she was going to tear it up, but of course, marriage can be temporary, so she just dog ears it and puts it back in the thing.
It's very good.
I also want to say, when Carrie Fisher gets fitted for her dress, which is hideous.
Yeah.
Absolutely hideous dress. She's talking about Billy Crystal's now girlfriend that he has. And she says, Meg Ryan asks what she looks like, and she goes, thin, pretty, big tits, your basic nightmare.
It's very good.
Before we go to the verdict, how do you feel about the finale of our Sally and Harry getting together? New Year's Eve style. Ain't no mountain. No, wait, that was Bridget Jones.
It's a little like, it's rom-com necessity. They got to get together, right, for it to be happy. I do like that it's a happy ending. I do
Originally
think
it was
that...
not going to be one.
I do think that if they can get past their own sort of... Because really, basically the two things are... Harry doesn't think that he's good enough for her, is kind of the vibe, or something like that. And then her vibe is she feels this way towards Harry, doesn't think she should, but also like doesn't tell him. And so they've got their own sort of walls built up for no real reason other than they sort of decided this at some point. And so that it's like, oh, well, now we're friends and, whatever. But it would have been, maybe realistic that they just kind of stay friends, but I think it's nice. It's nice that they get together. And if they can get past that in a relationship, then I think they'll have a very happy ending because they're already
the two
very
things
good friends.
Listed are things, well, maybe not him thinking that he's not good enough for her, but I mean, I feel like the fact that they got together renders the Meg Ryan issue moot. If she's like, she never tells him that,
We do also see Harry gradually mature over the course of the film. He's not necessarily... He apologizes. He doesn't have these sort of grandiose things. And if he does, he's like, I was, like he's kind of like...
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what's he say? Like, what's the statute of limitations on apologies?
Yeah.
I like that.
But also, like, during the wagon wheel table scene, he sort of blows up and then she comes out and he sort of says some mean things to her and she calls him out on it. And he's like, Can I say something real quick? I'm sorry, man. They hug.
Yeah.
Like friends, Jerry.
Like equals.
Yeah, I will say I cried during the final part of the thing. I mean, I don't know if it's just ingrained into my brain, but just him listing the things that would sound like they would be annoying, but he actually finds very charming. He loves that it takes her an hour and a half to order a sandwich. He loves the little crinkle in her nose that happens when she's looking at him like he's nuts. It's
what she does right then. Yeah.
Right. It's very cute. It worked for me. I love that the countdown starts and you're like, the countdown, it's going to end at 0 and they're going to be together. But the countdown ends and everyone's just throwing confetti and they're still sort of arguing with each other. And then she says, I hate you, Harry. I really hate you. And they kiss.
Yeah.
It had to be them.
I don't know.
Them.
I don't know if I would have liked it as much because of the, I think this set off some tropes. Like that whole thing of just listing things.
Right.
Also kind of happens in Bridget Jones' Diary, for example, but also came, 10 plus years later. But the cap of having them be one of the couples on the couch and then sort of have things at least seemingly improvised back and forth about it, about their cake, what kind of cake they had. I was like, all right,
fudge sauce on the side.
I'm back in. On this side.
Let's go to the verdict.
Let's go.
Wonderful us. Tyler kept saying that everyone was Michael Bublé. And I was like, that is Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, that is Tony Bennett. And that might be Harry Connick Jr.
That's very clearly Louis Armstrong, and they don't sound anything alike.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Michael Bublé would be like 14 when this movie came out.
Yeah. Damon.
Yes,
what is your
DJ?
verdict?
Your inner child is not an idiot. This is a fun, heartwarming, great rom-com. The rom-com that launched 1,000 other rom-coms. I kept thinking of Seinfeld, which I love. It is a very Seinfeldian show. And in fact, Castle Rock, which made this movie, went on to produce Seinfeld as well. Rob Reiner is responsible for Seinfeld too, just to add some more to the grieving pile. But yeah, it feels very much in that vein. All the characters feel really lived in and realistic, which really feels like a Nora Ephron touch. I thought a lot about Sleepless in Seattle as well, which also follows these rom-com tropes, but also in a very similar way, as we discussed on that episode, elevates it in a very simple way.
When they work, they work.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of give rom-coms a lot of passes in being, because they are so trope heavy, but I feel like that is by design. But this is just a very charming movie. Everyone is just doing great. Everyone is, someone I'd want to hang out with in October in New York, wearing a cute little hat and little tapered
outfit.
With my little outfit. I picked this out at home. I laid it on the bed the night before and said, I'm going to the museum with Harry and I'm going to wear this. DJ, what did you think about this movie that you immediately started texting me lines from, which, rewatching it, were from the first scene? Did you like the movie?
I did like this movie. Yes, it's very charming. Really, and I'd like to think that I wouldn't say this just because Rob Reiner just passed away, but I feel like it's really well directed as well. It's extremely well written. Not Rob Reiner, Nora Ephron, but it's extremely well acted. Like, what else do you want from a movie? You got all the things. I do like the trope we said, the tropes from romantic comedies. When they work, they work. It's kind of like the same as you might feel about an action movie. There are just things that need to happen. There needs to be a car chase in an action movie, and there needs to be, reason they can't get together in a romantic comedy, but then they can get together.
Time bomb, whether that's like a airplane that's taking off to take her to the other end of the country, or just New Year's Eve.
Yes. You need some sort of clock. We got to get a clock in here, Jerry. So I don't know. That's not from Seinfeld, but just felt like the right thing to say.
Remember that episode where George was obsessed with getting a giant clock in Jerry's apartment?
I could see that.
It was called The Clock.
Billy Crystal is great. I think he does a great job of being jokey, of being riffy without feeling like he's trying out Billy Crystal comedy material. He has a great charm to him, even though this is a dickhead character. And you still kind of want to be friends with him. Funny people can be dicks. You know, like I want to hang out with him and see what he thinks about that movie we just watched, right? Like, because he's going to have something funny to say. And the cynicism, while I could see where it would wear on you in some ways, it's charming, it's funny, and it's that sort of, you know, the New York Jewish person. You know what I mean? It's like that's the trope that we're going for. But it's very. Am I not allowed to say that?
No, you can say that.
Okay.
I think that's a great point about him not feeling very shticky. I don't want to malign a dead man, but like I thought briefly about like Robin Williams in this role, and you know, I feel like that would be a lot of like more zingy, zippy one-liners.
Yeah.
And I feel like Billy Crystal plays it and it feels natural to him, and he feels like a funny guy you would know in life that isn't, you know, trying to work his tight five into conversation. It feels very good.
He's a good example. Like if someone was confused by the fact that comedians can be depressed, I would point to this character and be like, still extremely funny, but not well for a lot of the movie, right?
He's not well.
And, you know, not to armchair diagnose someone, he seems depressed. I don't want to put a label on it, and then the opposite, the sort of effervescence that Meg Ryan brings into it, this Sally, it's just great. While obviously having her own issues to work through, they feel very real. Their friendships their friendship together feels great. Their friendships with their cohorts with Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby also feel real, and I love that I know it's so obvious when you think about it, but like the movie stays focused on Harry and Sally and their relationship. There are other characters, but it's like it's about that, and they don't lose focus, and they don't sort of lose. I feel like sometimes the romantic comedies can lose focus because maybe they lose confidence, or that it has to be more wacky. I don't know. It's like, it's a different kind of movie.
I think a lot
of
romantic comedies also sometimes get stuck with like, we want to make these two people relatable, so we'll have really funny people play their friends. And then sometimes that throws the balance off kilter, and you're like, why can't I just hang out with Rhys Evans then?
Yes.
Well, he's really funny.
Why don't you date her? She's really funny.
Why don't Paul Rudd and Zooey Deschanel, the best friends of our characters, why don't they do it?
We tried that, and then they went off together. Okay, so anyway, You're in Trials, Not an Idiot. This movie is great. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner. He is a director for our childhood in a lot of ways. So, what do you think, everybody? You should email us. You're in Trials, Not an Idiot at gmail.com. You should text us, leave us a voicemail, 615-576-0525. You can tell us what you think. Hold.
Got him here.
You did it
but
faster
you can move them around and stuff.
Do a little randomize.
I had to be them. Wonderful them. Oh.
We want to sing to our patrons. We want to thank our patrons so much, including Lindsay, Halik,
Tippi von Cheaterly.
Do you want to do it in the voice? What is Billy Crystal's voice? Stu-StusStuartJ.
Oh, right. Waiter, there's too much pepper on my paprikash. Dr. Malcolm's heaving bosom.
Larissa Maestro. I feel like Meg Ryan. I can't do it.
The supreme ruler of this podcast.
T. Smith.
Beth Surmont.
Travis Vance.
Tommy Boy is my favorite movie.
And Joshua Frigo. I can't
Bill
do it anymore.
Haynes.
Particle Man.
Lindsay Nell.
Karen Curd.
Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Jeremy T. Powlen.
The Hands of Fate.
The Zesty.
Holiday classic Jungle All the Way.
Jackson.
It has the cadence of a joke.
Zachary Hartley.
Dramatically placed hot dog.
Oh no, Damon's Australian accent.
Hizoner the mayor.
Little Miss Chicken Nugget.
Hit on the Cartouche.
Jonathon Day.
The Elusive Van Gromkin.
Caroline Amberson. Thank you all very much for supporting the show. If you want to support like them, patreon.com/YourInChildIsAnIdiot. Okay, everybody, bye.
Bye. It had to be us or someone else like us, someone around us.